Hello again, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Today, not doing a Flosstube update today. I figured I'd give myself about 2 weeks to get some real good progress in on things before I do an update. So instead, because I'm still new here, I thought a finish parade would be a good idea. See what kind of things I've done before, what my style kind of is. It is January 8th, Wednesday. We in Virginia just had a big snowstorm, so everything was shut down basically for 2 full days. And not me, I work from home, so I was working. My husband, though, he got to stay home, which means I did not want to film either Monday or Tuesday, which was my original plan, but that's okay. It's always good to have him home. So I realized last time I never even said the name of my channel, so welcome to Becca is Stitching. Underscores in between the words. It's the same on here as it is on Instagram. Again, all this stuff is usually on Instagram. I'm pretty good at keeping things updated there. But let's just kind of jump right in. So last time during my first whip parade, my first video, I mentioned that when I started my first project, it was kind of an impromptu start. I walked in for Christmas and my sister was stitching, and I knew immediately I needed to go get something to stitch myself. So I went to Joann's, and this was the most complicated chart they had. I think it's called Mother's Kitchen, I want to say. I have no idea who designed it, what the company was. I know I stitch it all on kit fabric, kit everything. It's very dirty, so this is not my style at all. But my sister didn't want me to just like throw it away, so she ended up actually putting it up on her kitchen wall. You can actually see right here, she literally just nailed it into the wall, so the nails actually rusted a little bit, and it was in her kitchen completely unprotected. So like there's grease marks, there's everything. I'm going to do nothing with it. I'm keeping it solely for posterity's sake to remind me where I started in this journey. And I think realistically it turned out pretty good. This is the back. I was even pretty proud of myself for how the back came out on my first project. So really just kicked off a whole new hobby for me. Over the next couple of years, since I finished this, I think in 2019, I really only found my patterns from Etsy. So I will include right here just kind of an image of several of the things that I did finish during that period. I excluded some of the wedding samplers that I made people just because I don't have their permission to put their names and wedding dates up, so I won't. But yeah, I'll insert that right here. So if you're interested in any of those patterns, I'm willing to look it up for you. I did not look, most of those have been gifted. I don't have them. For a while there, I was monogamish, so I was doing like one project for me while I was working on gifts for other people, and I really, at that point, was interested in full coverage. So I do have that finished piece here. I finished this in 2020, and you're gonna get a lot of glare and a view of my kitchen. Let's see if we can turn this off. If that helps all, oh my gosh, no. I might have to include a picture. There's no helping this. But yeah, so I did finish this. I got that, and I'll pop in a better picture here, one with not a lot of that glare. Is it better with or without that? I don't know, we'll see. I'll pop in a better picture here. I got this pattern off of Amazon, actually. I finished my first project, and I have no idea. It looks like a stock photo. I'm like 90% sure it's just a stock photo that someone charted, but it came as like a paper pattern. No, it came as a PDF, but I printed it. So I was working on it like a paper pattern. And it took a long time, so I finished that in 2020 while I was working on all those other things over the couple years. I think 2019 was like my cross stitch Christmas. Everybody got a cross stitch. And then after I had finished that one, I did go onto Etsy. Ooh. Let's put this somewhere safer. So after I finished that, I did look on Etsy and for a full coverage pattern, and I did get burned a little bit that way and kind of put me off stitching for a little while. The composition was horrible. It was charted very orange and it was supposed to be people, so it looked awful, but I had put in so many stitches at that point. So I put a pause on stitching for a little bit until I found Flosstube. When I found Flosstube, I started my first full coverage, the big one, but my first finish, obviously I didn't finish that full coverage, but my first finish after that was this right here. This is Minerva by Nora Corbett. It's stitch all called for, all everything. It's the milk chocolate witchelt, which the linen is terrible, but she does look really good. We've got all the beads in there. I did stitch her skin 1/1. That was my obviously first time doing that, but I think she looks so good, and I need to get her on the wall. I mean, I've had her done now since, you know what? Okay, so I had all of the stats ready to go and I didn't pull them up. So I have stats for everything going forward here. I'm gonna show you everything that I've done since this point, unless it was a sampler that was for a non-family member. So I finished her on October 10th of 2020. I started her on August 17th, so I finished her relatively quickly. But yeah, she's so pretty. I would love to do more of the Bewitching Pixie collection. She was just my favorite. I love those teal blues in her. So the next finish was again, I put my first order into 123 Stitch and I got that, and I got this one. This is by Le Petit Croix. Not a French person, I don't know how to say that. So this is called Halloween Candy Shelf. It's stitch all called for on an 18 count Aida from somewhere, you know, how we all just get random Amazon 18 count Aida when we first start stitching. But I think it looks so good. I want to finish this as like a flat finish for Halloween. But I mean, it's so detailed. There's so much backstitch in there. I think it looks so good. I think it was like my most complicated pattern I have ever done though. At this point, I love it. So I finished that on November 3rd, 2022, and I started it on July 24th of 2022. Okay, so my next one I'll show right here. So I stitched this for my mother-in-law. It's called Simple Treasures. It was a dimensions kit. I swapped out the fabric for 28 count Jobelin. Lamb's wool was the colorway. So it's like a dusty brown, like a light brown. I hate the kit fabric, and the dimensions are usually, I wanted more of a border around the whole thing. So I did swap that out. I started at January 1st, 2023, and I finished it on July 1st of 2023. And that, everything was stitched, called for, kit, everything except for the fabric. So the next thing I started was Until We're Dust. I started this on, so it's by Night Spirit Studio. I started on Night Spirit Studio Day, when we were all starting things, buying things from Night Spirit Studio to just give her a little support when she was going through cancer. at that point. So I did stitch this as a wedding sampler. So I started it on July 8th of 2023 and I finished it on July 21st of 2023. I stitched it on, I believe, 14 count black Aida, 3/1 to get that good coverage of the white, especially on that black fabric. The next thing I finished was my first stitch along. I love this so much. This is my first, it was the Lola Crow 2023 stitch along. I started it on April 20, this was the Greenhouse of Oddities, if you're not familiar. So this is, I started April 27th, 2023. I actually started this, we had just bought our house. So this is like the first thing I was stitching in my new house. And it was the first house we ever bought. It holds a lot of good memories. This piece right here. So I started this, like I said, April 27th, 2023. I finished on August 19th, 2023, the last day of the stitch along. I really kept up with this. I think I finished like every part the day it was released or like the day or two after. And I really do prefer that with my stitch alongs. I like to keep up with them. Otherwise, I know I'm just not going to. No, I'm not going to finish them. But I stitched this 2/1, all called for flosses on 36 count Highland Picture This Plus linen. And it's so pretty. It's like this really pretty dappled greenish color. I love it. I'm going to say it's all of them. I need to finish them. I always say I don't want to start a ton of projects because I want to see them on my wall and then I have this huge stack of just unfinished stuff. Okay, so this next one I started was part of Witchy Stitcher Day. So Meg of the Witchy Stitcher was also going through a cancer fight. And so I bought a bunch of her patterns. I love the Witchy Stitcher and I started this one in particular. I started this September 3rd. And I finished it on October 24th of 2023. It did not take many days to stitch. This is called Poisonous Plants. And I stitched it on a 32 count. Let me pull out my Notion tablet. I have it. This was before I was tracking things in there. So it's in the note section, which is harder to get to, but it is a 32 count navy linen by Zweigart. And I thought it just looked so good on that dark fabric. But oh, that's so good. I'm like picturing this in like a beautiful black ornate frame. And that's the thing that puts me off on finishing all of these is, sure, you have the cost of actually stitching it and then you have to, on top of that, spend all the money on the frame. I will frame them myself. I've gotten pretty good at that. At this point, but yeah, I'd rather be stitching than finishing, unfortunately. Okay, so the next one I finished, I have it somewhere. It's in my Halloween box, my decoration box. So I'll put a picture of it right here. This is Haunted Cottage by Mill Hill. All called for, all everything. I started it on September 3rd of 2023 and finished it on October 28th of 2023. And that was my first Mill Hill. I love beading, so that was really enjoyable. The perforated paper was weird to get used to, I will say, but I think it looks really great. And I do have that one. I just popped that into a Mill Hill like frame. Yes, they're expensive, but taking the guesswork out of it was, they're expensive for what they are. They're not expensive. The next thing I finished, I also gifted. So this was Have Faith from Cottage Garden Samplings, their, I think, Songbird collection. I finished this, I started it May 31st of 2023 and I finished it November 7th of 2023. I gifted this to my husband's grandmother. I switched Faith to Family, which Jessie Marie Does Stuff did, and I shamelessly copied that from her. But I stitched all called for floss, 1/2 on 36 count Bramble Picture This Plus linen. And I did that as like a flat finish, which is the first time I had ever done that. I think it turned out okay. Okay, the next thing I finished was just a small ornament from Just Cross Stitch magazine, their Christmas ornament edition of 2023 by Tangled Threads and Things. So it's just this little Christmas pie. I know I want to stitch this as like a fluffy ornament that like looks kind of like a pie. I didn't pay attention to the dimensions, so I don't think this will fit in like a tart pan. Which would be a much easier finish, but I think I'm just gonna get some like rickrack and put it around it so it kind of looks like a pie crust, and then just soft finish it, stuff it with some polyfill, and maybe gift it to somebody, because my tree is very like one of those decorated trees. I don't have a lot of like handmade stuff or anything on it. So I don't know, maybe someday I'll have a small tree that has cross-stitch ornaments finished on it, but for the time being, I think that's what's stopping me from finishing this, is I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it, but it's cute. Okay, this was my next big finish that I was very, very pleased with. This was my first Dimensions Gold kit. So this is Woodland Enchantress. And I started her on January 7th of 2023. I finished her on November 19th of 2023. And she's just so stunning. I mean, you don't get all of this like gold floss here. There's some beads over here. This cording is really cool on her waist. But no, she's so good. I swapped out this fabric to a 32 count Dove Lugana by Witchy. I found the fabric color really matches. I think they call it gray or something that comes in the Dimensions Gold kits a lot of the time. Just to give you some of her detail. Oh, you did get a little bit of that shimmer. That's awesome. So yeah, she's so, I know a ton of people have been working on her, and she is so worth it. Art is by Ruth Sanderson. I don't want to forget that. Okay, so my last finish for 2023, this is my first Need a Lot Designs pattern. I have since fallen in love with her and her designs. This is Have a Berry Christmas. I did crop out, it did have a Berry Christmas along the bottom of it. I don't love words on my cross stitch, and I thought he was definitely cute enough without it. So I started him on September 2nd and finished him on December 15th, 2023. I stitched him 2/2, all called for 28 count lamb's wool Jobelin. This lamb's wool Jobelin is what I am stitching my huge Fairwater Lothlorien full coverage on. So I had a bunch of scraps for it, because I think I got like a full yard of it, because I just wasn't sure how much I would need. So I stitched quite a few things on it since then. I did switch out, I think it was this middle shade of brown. What was called for blended in a little too much, so I think I did just a blend between the darkest shade and the lightest shade to get more of that definition there, to get that patterning in the bear on his sweater done. But he's so cute. I think he'd be easy enough to finish and just like pop into an oval frame. I just need to find one that's the right size for him. He's so cute. Okay. So now we're on to 2024 whips. I finished 12 projects last year, and I think I finished 11 the year before that. So 12 more to get through. So this next one, I also started on that Witchy Stitcher Day, or shortly thereafter. I think I bought it on Witchy Stitcher Day. But this is a Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. I finished this on 18 count light pewter Ida. Going back, I kind of wish I had chosen like a darker fabric so you could see more of those like snowflakes and get a little bit more of that detail, but I still think it looks really, really good. I do love her festive frosted pumpkin cottage too, and I don't think I'll stitch it, but part of me really wants to because all the Santa hats and the lights and everything. It's so cute. But I started this on September 1st of 2023, and I finished it on January 15th of 2024. This was one of my first whip go calls, called for a finish. And I succeeded, but it's so cute. I mean, I love the details on the window, especially that back stitching on that main window. I think it's so good. Yeah. All right, my second finish of 2024 was also a whip go call. This is Spring Bluebird Mill Hill kit, all called for, all everything. We'll get some of that shininess for the beads in there. I do plan to, I have a second Mill Hill frame. So I do plan when spring comes up and all my Christmas stuff comes down, I will put this in that frame and have it up for spring and summer. But I started this on July 5th of 2023 and I finished it on January 19th of 2024. Okay, so last year I had both my sisters got married, so I did stitch them both a wedding sampler. The first sampler I finished was by Svetlana Sichkar on Etsy. I started February 9th and finished it on April 4th. I stitched it, I think just a 32 count white Jobelan. I really wanted the greens on there to be the main focus of this piece. And I did let my sister choose, like both my sisters choose which piece they got. I didn't want to, go through all the time of making something that they hated. So they did approve of these two designs for their weddings. Okay, so the next one I finished was the first in the Mother Nature series by Stitchora in Just Cross Stitch magazine. So I started her on September 3rd of 2023, and I finished her on June 15th of 2024. I stitched her on 32 count antique white Jobelan. And this is, of course, Mother Nature Winter. It's from the Just Cross Stitch magazine. I don't remember specifically, but you can see here, she's got a little bit of metallic. I don't know if that's gonna come across. On her neck is like a necklace there. Again, she is very, very backstitch heavy, but she just looks incredible. I love these mountains and those trees. But yeah, I plan on finishing all of these at the same time, so she's not even slotted at any point soon to get fully finished, because I want them all finished the same way, and I'm just not quite sure what I want that to be yet. If you heard that hissing sound in the background, I don't know if you could hear, my dog is just circling and kind of chasing the cat around the room. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you could hear that. Hopefully it was quiet enough that you couldn't. Okay, so my next one was the second wedding sampler. So I stitched this June 30th is when I started it. I finished it July 4th, so it was a very quick stitch. I did kind of leave it to the last second, considering she got married at the end of July. And I did get this one framed at Michael's, so I definitely left it to the last second. I stitched it on 32 count. Again, the white even weave of some kind by Zweigart, I would assume. I added the green and the purple. I'll put on the screen what those were because I don't remember specifically what I know they were classic Colorworks colors, but I don't specifically remember the colorways. They matched her wedding colors. So I think that turned out really, really good. She did tell me at Christmas, she's like, we don't have it up on the wall yet, but it's up on the mantle right there, front and center. And she was like, we really love it. I'm like, that's okay. I have stuff. My one piece that I finished in 2020, still not hung on the wall. It's just leaned up somewhere since we moved. So trust me, I think we get it. Sometimes it takes a minute. But anyway, so the next one I finished, this is Harvest Mice from Mama Witch X Stitch on Etsy. Or Etsy's where I bought it. I don't know if she has an actual website. I should look into that because I would prefer to buy it directly from her. But I stitched this on 18 count Black Ada by Spike-Art. All called for. I started it September 2nd of 2023 and I finished it on August 6th of 2024. This was another whip go call that called for a finish. I plan on making this into a project bag. I will, one note about this is I'll put up what the image looks like from her like Etsy listing or from the pattern listing. Some of the colors do look brighter, so it doesn't look exactly like what I was expecting it to, but I still think it's really, really cute and definitely doesn't affect my enjoyment. I was getting a little concerned when I started and I was like, oh, is this gonna turn out okay? But you know, it was to trust the process and it wasn't big enough for me to really worry about it, but I love those little mice. They're so cute. Okay, so my next one was another piece I got from Etsy, or pattern I got from Etsy, from Cross Stitch For You. It's called Narsil Tree of Gondor. I stitched this for my husband. Again, I need to finish it. I plan on doing the like drawn thread hem stitch around it and putting like kind of hanging it kind of like a tapestry. That's my end vision for this one. Again, I just need to do it. I stitched this 1/2 on 36 counts marbled pointer linen from XJU Designs. It's a really good fabric. It's yellowy with this like red model on it. I love it so much. I did swap out that red too. I think it was called for DMC 321, and I swapped it out for Classic Colorworks Manor Red. You don't get a lot of that variegation because it is 1/2, but in person you can see it a little bit better. Just give a little something extra. But it's really cute. It was a pretty fast stitch, so I enjoyed that a lot. We're big Lord of the Rings nerds in this house. Okay, my next one was the 2024 Lola Crow cross stitch stitch along. So this is the Deadly Aquarium. I'm sure you've seen this everywhere last year. Oh, it's so good. So I stitched this on 36 count mint linen by Fiber on a Whim. 2/2 called for. I started it April 24th, finished it August 30th. And it's so cute. I love that. That crocodile was no mean feat to finish it at the end there. I love these jellyfish. There's so much detail in these designs. It's incredible. It's so fun to stitch. I love how she has the, like as she releases the parts, she gives you information about the creatures that she has in there, or in case of the Greenhouse of Oddities, she had information on the different plants and stuff, which just makes it, and like usually the threat factor, like if they're super dangerous or like venomous or something, they have a high threat level. So that's always fun. Yep, so that's that one. We'll see if I do the Sal this year. I'm assuming she'll have one this year. If I don't like it though, I have planned whichever is the next one that she comes out with that I don't want, I'm gonna go back and stitch the her first one that she did, that library, because I love it so much, but I keep loving the one she comes out with and I don't want to add that one to my whip pile. But if that happens, I'll stitch it along with like the release schedule, I think, for whatever the current Sal is, just to give myself that structure, because I found that really does, especially for those, really work for me. Okay, my next one is very, very exciting to me. This was I think one of the first projects I started after I, you know, found Flosstube, found 1, 2, 3 Stitch, found all of that stuff, and I finished it this past year. I'm gonna stand up because it's huge. So this is Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. I stitched this using DMC 895. Backstitch is either just white or black DMC. I started it September 23rd of 2022, and I finished it November 9th of 2024. I'm gonna fall over, okay. But yes, I mean, some of the backstitch stuff, I mean, just look at those dragons and that horse. It's so good. I love these, which side is it? I love these unicorns so much. We got the griffin there. This relief stitching was no joke, but it looks so good. You got the little owl. Another knight on his horse. That tree. I love that little city too. There's just so much in these Long Dog samplers that you just don't notice until you're stitching it. You're like, oh, I didn't even see that raven, or I didn't see that ant on the flower when I was first looking at it. But they're so good. They look so beautiful. They're so detailed. They're incredibly easy and like methodical to stitch. Like, just especially if you're doing the monochromatic stitching, I would just load up 6 needles and just go until I ran out of floss. To finish it for a while, that's all I was doing. I would thread up the needles, I would stitch all of them, and then I would put it away for the day. And that was it. And that got me to a finish quicker than I had anticipated, which was great because I did want that off my whip pile. I have my eye on so many modern folk embroidery designs, and I just couldn't justify having 2 massive monochromatic pieces going at the same time. Okay, so the next one I finished it in November. I don't have like the specific dates of this one, just because it's technically part of like a larger pattern design. It's this ornament. It's the pink house from the Christmas Village. I'll put the details here because of course I can't remember the name. I am using the kit fabric here because I know it's going to be an ornament. It's full coverage. I'm going to make it into those ornaments when it's done. I don't know if I'm going to make it into like garlands though, instead of like individual ornaments. We'll see when I finish the rest, but I'm considering each of these its own start and finish. I think my cat's eating dog food that fell. That's okay. One piece won't kill her. Anyway, so because they're really detailed pieces, they're small, but it's on 18 count. They're very detailed. And I don't necessarily want to stitch them all in one go. Like maybe one a year would be fine, maybe less than that. I don't know, it's not a priority, but I didn't want these ornaments just like in my whip pile being counted. When I really have no plans to stitch the rest of them at this time. Yeah, it's very cute. I like it. I love Dimensions Gold. Like I said in my whip parade, I'm a big kit stitcher. Okay, 2 more. Nope, 3 more. I can count. Okay, so this next one, it's really not my style. I started it. I think it's cute. I still think it's cute. I'll probably put it up at Christmas, maybe just like in my office or something. Doesn't necessarily fit my decor aesthetic, especially for Christmas. But it is Christmas Wonder. It was a stitch along, I think in the 2023 Just Cross Stitch magazine. They released it in the different parts for the different scenes. I started July 11th of 2023 and I finished it in December 13th of 2024. I stitched it on 32 count antique white Jobelin from Witchy. I mean, again, it's really cute. I like the design a lot. It's just not, like my decorations are not cutesy like this. I do think it's very, very cute. I will finish it. It's like a flat fold or something. But if this one day ends up as a gift to somebody, I wouldn't be at all surprised. And you can see, especially in that sleigh there is, in all of these snowflakes, they're a DMC Diamant floss. Yeah. It's cute. It's cute. I like it. It's just, I would not pick it up now and decide to stitch it. I think I just wanted to stitch something out of just Cross Stitch Magazine because I just found out like it existed. So that's one of the ones I chose, and I finished it. It's done. It's off the whip list. Okay, so the next thing I finished, this is small. I got it in the Nice List box from Black Needle Society. It's called it's called Winter Wonderland. I had this, Winter Wonderland, and Christmas Wonder, and my brain just could not get it together on what they were called. But I stitched this all called for because everything came in the box. I stitched it on the fabric that came in the box. It was the 32 count Over the Moon linen from Color and Cotton. Again, if I had to do it again, I probably would stitch it on something else because that blue, that light blue, really ghosts into the fabric, and I do think you lose something from that, but it was such a small design, and I, at that point, was not going to start over. So I love this blue. Unfortunately, it's a floss I don't use. It came in the box, so I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use it if I have it, but I do like that color, so I might need to find like a classic Colorworks conversion or something for that. Okay, and my last one, this is Cranberry Row by Rosewood Manor. It's basically a finish. I haven't put the name on yet because I'm doing Cranberry Row, and this year I'm hoping to finish Cranberry Pines, which is the other Rosewood Manor stocking for me and my husband, and we just haven't decided whose is whose yet, so I left that blank. But it's really, this is one of those things that just, you don't, seeing it, words, seeing a picture of it or seeing it on video does not do it justice. But I started this February 25th of last year, and I finished it on December 29th of last year. And so all of those, they're all beads. It is very bead heavy. I think it was like 5 or 6, maybe not 6, but it was like 5 boxes of those beads. And it looks, I love beading. I love beading so much. So that was really enjoyable over the holidays. It's also stitched on a 28 count white opalescent linen. So you are getting a little bit of that in the image. But yes, it's really pretty. I can't wait to get both of these up and get them hung someday when I finish them. Hopefully this year, that would be nice, but I haven't obviously started Cranberry Pines yet, so we'll see. We'll see what the year brings. But yes, so that's it. That is a big portion of what I have finished. I do like a lot of big projects, so I don't have a ton of finishes, but what I do have, I really, really enjoy. So thank you for sitting through this finish parade. Thank you for watching the first video. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you liked it. I have a lot of similar and different things coming down the line in my whip pile currently. Check out my whip parade that I posted last week. And next week I should be posting my first official Flosstube update with my progress so far in the year. So thank you for joining, and I hope to see you next time. I hope you have the best day you can. Do something for yourself today. Thanks, bye.